Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we are going to be going over an entire recap of the year. Also, we'll be covering a bit of news in the transfer portal. We'll be covering coach changes, what each team finished in conference for the Power 4 conferences, what next year may look like. It's maybe a bit of a long video, I don't know, but we've got a lot to cover. Before we get into it though, please like, subscribe, and comment. The first thing we're going to cover today is the recap of the year. All we have to do is look at the preseason poll. Then we look at the final poll. Speaking of which, I haven't even looked at it myself. So, this is me reading off the final poll. I haven't looked at it, so here you guys go. Number 1, Indiana. Number 2, Miami. Number 3, Ole Miss. Number 4, Oregon. Number 5, Ohio State. Number 6, Georgia. Number 7, Texas Tech. Number 8, Texas A&M. Number 9, Alabama. Number 10, Notre Dame. I don't know how that makes sense. Number 11, BYU. Number 12, Texas. Number 13, Oklahoma. Number 14, Utah. Number 15, Vanderbilt. Number 16, Virginia. Number 17, Iowa. Number 18, Tulane. Number 19, James Madison. Number 20, USC. Number 21, Michigan. Number 22, Houston. Number 23, Navy. Number 24, North Texas. Number 25, TCU. I don't see why Navy's ranked. I think Virginia and Utah are underrated. Both have 11 wins and are behind a bunch of 10 win teams. All of those teams are brand teams. Texas, Oklahoma, Notre Dame. Vanderbilt's not even they just have the SEC on their chest, and it gives them permission. Another thing, Tulane, 11-3. Virginia, 11-3. Tulane, 2 spots behind them. How? I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. Also, Houston, 22nd. I don't think that's correct either. It's just a mess here. Look at the coaches poll. I see Ohio State behind Georgia. I think it's crazy that Notre Dame's 11th. I mean, Notre Dame played teams like Boise State, Arkansas. Let's see, they played USC, they played Miami. Miami's their best game and they lost it. Their best win's USC. USC is 20th in the country. And other than that, I'm looking and I don't see no teams that played Notre Dame and got beat. So, I don't see why Notre Dame's getting so much credit. They played Texas A&M and lost. Yeah, their 2 losses were top 10 teams, but they had 1 top 25 win, and it wasn't a great one. I just have a lot to say about this. I think Houston being 19th in the coaches poll is right. I think Tulane being 18 is crazy, because we're talking about a group of 5 team here who got derailed. I think Virginia being 16 is stupid, and that they should be like, I think I have them 13th or 14th in my rankings. I agree with USC, Michigan. I think SMU has 4 bad losses, but, you know, Illinois, Georgia Tech, they both don't have great losses. Yet, SMU is the same. But they also have the best wins out of any 9-4 team. They beat number 2 in the country. They beat another 9-4 team. They had several great wins. So I don't see how this makes sense. They beat 2 9-4 teams. One of them was derailed, basically. So I find it ironic. Now I'm gonna move on to the standings. So, and just a little opinion. So we're going to the ACC. So this is weird, the setup. So on ESPN, it says Virginia finished number 1 in the ACC. Obviously, Duke won the ACC, so that technically puts them in number 1. But number 2, we'll say, Virginia finished 16th in the country, 11-3. They lost to NC State, they lost to Duke, and they lost to, was it Wake Forest? I think it was Wake Forest, right? Yeah, they lost to Wake. Then, according to this, SMU was 3rd in the country. 3rd in the ACC, rather. Sorry, my dog's barking. And I think my dog's about to go insane, so let me pause this. SMU's 3rd. They had a very high ceiling, a very low floor. They lost to Baylor. They lost to TCU. TCU finished 25th. They played pretty well in conference. They were 6-2. California was a terrible loss. If they had beat Cal, they would have been in the ACC championship, fighting for a chance in the playoffs. Miami finished 4th in the ACC. They finished 2nd in the country. I don't know why I said 10th on this, but they finished 2nd, 13-3. Lost to SMU, lost to Louisville, and lost to Indiana in the national championship. Had key huge wins, including Notre Dame, Ohio State, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M, taking down the SEC like a pro. Pittsburgh finished 5th in the ACC, finishing the season 8-5, losing to East Carolina. Miami, I want to say they lost to Louisville and some other teams. Key wins they had was they had a win over Georgia Tech. They also lost to West Virginia, I just remembered. Let's see. They beat Florida State, which kind of caused Florida State's meltdown. Beat NC State. Sadly beat Stanford by 15. Then there's Georgia Tech. My mouse keeps struggling here, guys. Georgia Tech looked very strong. They started the season 8-0. And then it all fell downhill when NC State took them down. They then struggled with Boston College. Got destroyed by Pitt. We're down 0-28. And then got in a dogfight with Georgia and barely lost. But they beat Colorado, beat Clemson, beat Wake Forest by 1, beat Duke by 9. I mean, and then there's Duke, who was crazy. They lost to UConn. They lost to Tulane. They got wrecked by Illinois. They lost to Georgia Tech, and they lost to Virginia. But they made it to the ACC championship and won. Finished 9-5. I'm just going to say this real quick. The ACC needs to change the way how they decide tiebreakers. What I'm getting at is they have, Duke getting into the ACC championship. Let me just go down the list here on why Duke shouldn't have gotten in, and instead SMU should have. So SMU beat Miami, guys. They lost to California and Wake. Those teams are not even in the running. So they're 1-0. I personally think, in my opinion, it should be against the other teams that are 6-2, whether you were the most victorious. So Miami beats Pittsburgh, but loses to SMU. Pittsburgh beats Georgia Tech, but loses to Miami. Georgia Tech beats Duke, but loses to Pittsburgh. And Duke lost to Georgia Tech and nothing else. Which is why on ESPN it shows Duke at the bottom. So technically speaking, SMU was among the best in the 6-2 club because they were undefeated among them. They were 1-0. Duke was 0-1. The others were all 1-1. SMU was technically the best. Now instead they decided it through the most random thing I've ever seen, which is like being the best versus the bottom teams or something. I don't even know what it is. But NC State was finished 8-5. California, NC State was 7th. California is 8th, finishing 7-6. Clemson was 9th, finishing 7-6. Louisville was 10th, finishing 9-4. All these teams were 4-4. Wake Forest was 11th, finishing 9-4. Stanford was 12th. That's right, finishing 4-8. But they were 3-5 in conference, beating Florida State, Boston College, and Cal. In fact, they railroaded Cal, and it was funny. It was honestly a good game. Florida State was finished 13th, going 5-7. North Carolina finished 14th, going at 4-8. Virginia Tech finished 15th, going 3-9 and 2-6 in conference. Boston College finishing 16th, going 2-10 and 1-7 in conference. Syracuse finishing 3-9 and 1-7 in conference, beating Clemson, and I'm pretty sure they were like 3-0 or something. Weren't they 3-0? No, they were 3-1, and then they went downhill. And it was basically an issue with their quarterback. If you didn't know, my mouse is struggling because I'm on a wooden table. I need to get like a mouse pad, bro. But we're moving on to the Big 12. Texas Tech, 12-2, finishing number 1. BYU, 12-2, finishing 2nd. Utah, number 3, finishing 11-2. Houston, number 4, finishing 6-3 and 10-3. Texas Tech was 7th. BYU finished, I want to say 11th. Utah, 14. Houston, 22. Arizona finished 9-4. My mouse is gonna kill me. Arizona State finished 8-5. Iowa finished 8-4. Kansas State finished 6-6. TCU 5-4, 9-4. They finished 25th in the country. Cincinnati 5-4, 7-6. Baylor 3-6, 5-7. Kansas 3-6, 5-7. UCF 2-7, 5-7. West Virginia 2-7, 4-8. Colorado 1-8, 3-9. And Oklahoma State, being the utter disaster that they were, going 1-11. I don't even want to talk about them. I'm wearing an Oklahoma State shirt under this. And then we move on to the best conference among them all, the Big Ten. Once again, finishing at the top. Indiana, 16-0, 9-0. Ohio State, 9-0, 12-2. And Ohio State finished 5th. Indiana finished 1st. Oregon finished 4th, 8-1, 13-2. USC, 7-2, 9-4. Michigan, 7-2, 9-4. Iowa, 6-3, 9-4. Iowa was not as good in conference, but they had better quality wins. They faced Indiana. They faced Oregon. I don't remember their ever lost. I'd have to look. Hold on. Let's see. What was it? It was USC. And they really did do well this season. Washington 9-4, 5-4. Illinois 9-4, 5-4. Minnesota 8-5, 5-4. They lost to California like bozo. Stanford could beat them. Nebraska 4-5, 7-6, got wrecked by Utah in their bowl game. Northwestern 4-5, 7-6, lost to Tulane, which was kind of sad. UCLA 3-6, 3-9, lost to New Mexico. Imagine doing that, a team that usually is garbage. Penn State, after being ranked second or third in the country, 3-6 in conference. Yeah, that's right. That's because the Big Ten's the best. 7-6. Rutgers 2-7, 5-7. Wisconsin 2-7 and 4-8 got destroyed by Alabama, which is, I mean, I feel like Wisconsin could have competed with Alabama, considering their last 3 games. They went 2-1. Michigan State 1-8, 4-8. Maryland 1-8, 4-8. Poor Purdue 2-10. I'm not gonna look at the conference USA, but Notre Dame finished 10-2, which is depressing, because they didn't make it. They didn't beat Stanford hard enough. That's why. That's the real reason. Georgia, it says that it's in a different order in the SEC. Technically, Georgia was the best, then Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, but when it comes to playoff perspective, that isn't true. Georgia 7-1, 12-2. They lost to Ole Miss and Alabama. They beat Ole Miss, Alabama. Imagine. Ole Miss 13-2, lost to Miami because Miami's better. And Georgia lost. Georgia beat them once a very, very long time ago. Texas A&M finished 4th in the conference, and they went 11-2, getting beat by Miami at home, which is kind of ridiculous considering Kyle Field is humongous. And it was a very windy day. That was funny. 10-3. A&M's defense played pretty good for playing such a good Miami team, yet they couldn't play offensively, which was depressing. And they lost to Texas, which was kind of sad considering Texas finished 5th in the conference, going 10-3, losing to Florida. And y'all, just a reminder, South Florida beat Florida. And we're talking about the SEC here. Now, just a quick thing. Let's break down something. Florida and Arkansas both lost to American teams. Now, Northwestern lost to an American team too, but that's more SEC teams. Imagine. The SEC's, there's more in the SEC. More losses, that's what there is. More losses to the AAC, which is incredible. Then there's Alabama going 11-4, getting railroaded by Indiana after people like Paul Feinbaum saying, "Hey guys, Alabama's going to win the national championship." What? I mean, it's funny what people were saying about Indiana. There's nothing attractive about them. There's nothing. I'm not worried about Indiana. You should be worried about Indiana. You shouldn't. You should be worried about Kurt Signetti and the team he has made into a powerhouse, a juggernaut, because he's a great coach. Then there's Oklahoma being 6th in the SEC. They finished 10-3. They played and lost to Alabama after beating them a few weeks earlier. Lost to Texas and lost to Ole Miss. Brain froze. Vanderbilt 10-3, finished 15th in the country. They lost to Alabama, Texas, and Iowa because the Big Ten's better. Missouri 8-5, they lost to the ACC because the ACC is better. Tennessee, they lost to the They lost to the Big Ten because the Big Ten's better. Just letting y'all know, Missouri and Tennessee did not beat a single team that was Power 4 and a winning team. So their 8-5 records are ridiculous because they didn't beat anyone good at all. They beat cupcakes. LSU 3-5, 7-6. They didn't beat anyone good either. Clemson was their best win. Actually, they beat someone who was somewhat good, which is crazy because no one in their conference really can do that. funny. Kentucky got blown out by Louisville, 41-0. Just letting y'all know, Louisville got beat by SMU 38-6. And I'm pretty sure Louisville was playing with their backup quarterback, something like that. It was backup running backs or something, but their quarterback was also still injured. I'm pretty sure if he was playing, he had a hurt finger, he dropped, or something, like hurt foot, I can't remember. He broke something, hurt something. It was weeks ago, guys, give me a break. Florida, 2-6, 4-8, lost to South Florida. Imagine how ironic. Florida, who was 15th in the country starting this year, finished 4-8 and lost to an AAC team. Auburn, 5-7. They failed. I mean, Hugh Freeze failed rather. He's gone. He's in a better place now. Emma State, 5-8. They got a bowl game just to say, hey, we can do it. We can beat a good team. Still can't. Y'all lost to Wake Forest. It's funny because they're like, the SEC's like, oh, please let MS State play a bowl game. MS State gets to play a bowl game, followed by getting still destroyed by Wake. It was like 43-27. Yeah. South Carolina, 4-8. Y'all failed. Arkansas, 2-10. Y'all are garbage. And that's it. Basically, what I can say from this year is looking at our first rankings that we had. We were wildly off, considering we said 9 teams in the SEC deserved to be ranked. 7 teams in the SEC ended up ranked. It was the same as last year, by the way, 2024. Texas started number 1 and finished 12th. Now, Penn State did horrible. Penn State was disgusting and made the Big Ten look kind of disgraceful in a way. But Ohio State finished 5th. I mean, I feel like Ohio State losing to the best 2 teams in the country is better than, and hanging with them. They didn't get wrecked like Oregon. I think Ohio State should have been ahead of Oregon, but it's fair. And Oregon lost to the national championship twice. Anyways, Georgia finished 6th. Clemson did horrible. Notre Dame finished 10th, which was not right. I don't think that's correct. Oregon finished 4th, so better than what people thought. Alabama finished 9th. I think they finished more like 12th. LSU wasn't even ranked. Miami finished 2nd. Arizona State finished unranked. Illinois not ranked. In the coaches poll, they were ranked 25th. South Carolina finished as the most disgraceful team possible, and they were 4-8. Michigan finished like 22nd, and Florida finished 4-8. Nice. SMU finished 9-4, so not bad, but I mean it's not great. Kansas State finished 6-6 and lost to Army, who lost to Tarleton State. Wow. Oklahoma, they did pretty well. Texas A&M did well. Indiana did insanely good. Ole Miss did really good. Iowa State did terrible. I'm kidding. They finished 8-4. Texas Tech did really good. Tennessee did disgracefully bad. Boise State did disgracefully bad. Tennessee are fine. I'm kidding. 8-5, but I mean you play no one good, so you beat no one good rather. I love the argument. Hey, they have good losses. They deserve to be ranked. Y'all are 8-5. You didn't beat anyone great, and I mean. Let's see, you lost to an 8-4 Illinois team, which isn't the best loss best loss. But yeah, that's the preseason rankings, guys. You remember those times? Those were great times. Now, I've been recording for 25 minutes off of raw recording. I just looked at myself because I've been on ESPN this whole time, just staring, which is probably why I haven't really looked at the camera. Can I do split screen? Oh, I can. Hold on. Okay, I can see myself now. I've never tested with this while I recorded. So, Indiana, being the most losingest team in major college football, just won the national championship. I'm just looking at the headlines. Duke sued Mensa, their QB who's leaving, trying to prevent him. I think Duke, they're kind of crazy. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff out of Duke. Hold on, I'm grabbing my computer charger. It's at like 50%, and I get nervous when that happens. Like, Duke is a weird team. They've been really weird. I don't know if it's their coach. But they're an interesting team. Mendoza's brother, I love that they didn't even say his real name, goes to Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech may have a new QB. Signetti saying it's a new world. Indiana, Ohio State, and the cheaters of Michigan have won in the last. And the only thing I'm grateful for from Michigan is they won as a Big Ten team. They still cheated, so, by stealing team signs. Still not allowed, guys. Still not allowed. So, it's interesting. Whoa. I just saw something. Hold on. I just saw that Ohio State and Indiana are the favorites to win next CFB title. My first thought, guys. We're already predicting the next title. Wow. The Big Ten and SEC still want an expansion. I can agree. I think, here's my thoughts. What I've seen. First of all, Indiana's the only team to win a game with a bye. No other team was able to win even though they had a bye. Just saying. Indiana was the only one to do it. That says a lot. Just says a lot, guys. The next thing I want to say is... that it's interesting that these teams lose even though they're on byes. Moving on to transfer portal and such. Now, one thing I'm going to cover before. We had a lot of changes in the coaching. The SEC traded out 4 coaches. Several coaches. Arkansas hired Ryan Silverfield from Memphis. Auburn got South Florida's coach. Tulane John Summerall went to Florida. So, it's interesting. LSU got Lane Kiffin. Pete Golding did well for Ole Miss in the playoffs. Stanford got Trevita Pritchard. UCLA got Bob Chesney. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Penn State got Matt Campbell, Iowa State's coach. Virginia Tech got James Franklin, Penn State's former coach. I wonder what that's going to look like. They also hired Brent Pry, the former Virginia Tech coach, as like the defensive coordinator or something, which is interesting. I'm surprised Florida State did not fire Mike Norvell. You know, Stanford beating you, who's a team that's 3-9, is sad. So, interesting article I just found. This is a list of QBs who didn't, because this is a, I'm reading off of it. Here are all of the top 50 quarterbacks recruits in ESPN's rankings from 2020 to 2023 who haven't transferred, changed positions, or retired during their college careers. Bryce Young, Alabama. C.J. Stroud, this is 2020, Ohio State. Anthony Richardson Sr., Florida. Garrett Green, West Virginia. J.J. McCarthy, Michigan. Drake May, North Carolina. Garrett Nussmeier, LSU. Jalen Milroe, Alabama. I'm sorry if I pronounce this wrong to Texas Tech fans. Is it Baron Morton? Texas Tech. 2022, Cade Klubnik, Clemson. Ty Simpson, Alabama. Drew Aller, Penn State. Gunnar Stockton, Georgia. Sam Horn, Missouri. 2023, Arch Manning, Texas. Chris Vezina, Clemson. Avery Johnson, Kansas State. Marcel Reed, Texas A&M. Lenore Sellers, South Carolina. Emory Williams, Miami. Tucker McDonald, UConn. But there have been several there haven't been way too much, but the last thing I'm going to go over for this is the way too early top 25. Indiana, number 1. Texas, number 2. Not even going to ask. Notre Dame, number 3. Number 4, Georgia. Number 5, Oregon. Number 6, Ohio State. Okay, so I'm gonna go over what, like, key players are gaining, key players are losing. Texas Tech, number 7. Miami, number 8. Ole Miss, number 9. A&M, number 10. BYU, number 11. Oklahoma, number 12. USC, number 13. Louisville, number 14. LSU, number 15. I think y'all could see the shock on my face. 16, Iowa. SMU, 17. 18, Michigan. 19, Washington. 20, TCU. 21, Alabama. I'm sorry. I'm like, where's Alabama? We're behind TCU, guys. Wow, that's a long list. Man, ESPN is not happy with the SEC. I guess the SEC is behind on the bills to pay ESPN or something. Penn State, 22. Arizona State, 23. Tennessee, number 24. 25, Utah. So let me go over now what key players are gaining, what key players are losing. Let's see what this is saying. So going to number 1. Indiana losing Fernando Mendoza, Elijah Surratt, Pat Coogan, Roman Hemby, Stephen Daly, Aiden Fisher, Louis Moore, I don't know. You know how it works. Key additions: Josh Hoover from TCU, Nick Marsh from Michigan State, Turbo Richard from Boston College. Turbo Richard is pretty good. Toby Osunusami, correct me if I'm wrong, Kansas State. Preston Zachman, Wisconsin. AJ Harris, Penn State. Joe Brunner, Wisconsin. So several good additions. Texas is number 2. DeAndre Moore, Michael Taft, and Finney Hill Jr., Trey Moore, Malik Muhammad, Jalen Gilbo, and Quintravion Wisner are their losses. Key additions: Cam Coleman from Auburn, Hollywood Smubbers from NC State, Raleek Brown from NC State, Rasheem Biles from Pittsburgh, Bo Masco from Rutgers, Melvin Siani from Wake Forest. Notre Dame leaving Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, Malachi Field, Eli Raridan. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing these wrong, guys. Emil Wagner, Jalen Stroman. Key additions: Francis Brewu. Brewu? Pittsburgh. Sorry, I can't. My tongue today. Keon Keeley, Alabama. Jaden Sanders, Michigan. DJ McKinney, Colorado. Kinsey Porter, Ohio State. Dang it. Mylan Graham, Ohio State. What's going on? Ohio State's usually wide receiver university, and all their wide receivers are leaving. Spencer Porath, Purdue. Tion Gray, Oregon. Georgia, leaving. Zachariah Branch, Monroe Freeling, C.J. Allen, Kristen Miller, Dalen Everett. Okay. Key additions: Isaiah Canyon, Georgia Tech. Whoa, that's a big thing to do. That's stupid to do. You go to your rival. Oof. Jamarly Riddle, East Carolina. Gentry Williams, Oklahoma. Amaris Williams, Auburn. Khalil Barnes, Clemson. Oregon, they are players leaving: Malik Benson, Isaiah World, Emmanuel Pregnon, Kenyon Sadiq, Bryce Boucher, Dylan Theinman. Key additions: Dylan Raiola, Nebraska. Michael Bennett, Yale. Coy Parrish, Minnesota. Iverson Hooks, UAB. Carl Williams, the 4th, Baylor. Ohio State, leaving. Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Caden Curry, Katie McDonald, Davison Ignaboson, Carnell Tate, Max Clare. All those names are huge names. No, but no Julian Said, no Jeremiah Smith. So, that's dangerous. Key additions, though. Earl, a bunch of stuff on defense. Whoa. Earl Little. James Smith, Alabama. Qua Russell, Alabama. Terry Moore, Duke. Hunter Welsing, Northwestern. That's a tight end. Devin McQuinn, wide receiver from UTSA. Defensive tackle John Walker from UCF. Christian Allegro, Wisconsin. Connor Hawkins, Baylor. That's a kicker. So that's something vital for Ohio State. They're getting a kicker. Ohio State, my opinion, I look at it and I'm like, hold on, they're getting loaded too. They got a great amount of stuff coming from defense, and they have some stuff coming in offense. They got a kicker, they got a new wide receiver from UTSA, and UTSA has some firepower. And they are getting a tight end from Northwestern, and Northwestern was a pretty good team. Texas Tech is 7th on this. David Bailey, leaving. This is leaving, guys. Lee Hunter, Romello Height, Jacob Rodriguez, Bryce Ramirez, Baron Morton. Key additions: Brendan Sorsby, Dante Lee Jr. from Liberty, Kenny Johnson from Pitt, Malcolm Simmons from Auburn, Mateen Iragba, Wake Forest, Trey White, San Diego State, Adam Trick, Miami, Ohio, Austin Romaine, Kansas State. Miami, leaving Carson Beck, Francis Magua, James Brockermeyer, C.J. Daniels, Keelan Marion, Reuben Bain, Akeem Mesidor, Mohamed Tor, Wesley Bissainth, Jacoby Thomas. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing some of these wrong, guys. Arquez Carter from Ohio State, Cam Vaughn, West Virginia, Vandrevius Jacob, South Carolina, Omar Thornton, Boston College. I'm reading too fast. Ole Miss, leaving Dazon Stribling, Harrison Wallace III, Patrick Cutis, Daquan Wright, Jaden Williams, Xavier Harris, okay, Whitted Williams, T.J. Daughtery, Devin Harper, Prince Will, okay, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, they're gaining Deuce Knight from Auburn, Brady Priestcorn, Michigan, Carius Kern, LSU, Jonel Aguro, Georgia, Sheriff Denson, Florida, Makai Boro, Florida, Jay Crawford, Auburn, Edwin Joseph, Florida State, Keaton Thomas, Baylor, Jordan Renaud, Alabama, Blake Purchase, Oregon, and Texas A&M. They're losing AC Concepcion, Trey Zun III, Chase Bisontis, Demetrius Crownover, Cassius Howell, Torin York, Willie III, Albert Regis, Tyler Onidem. Gaining Isaiah Horton, Alabama, Wilkin Formby, Alabama, Tyree Adams, LSU, Trevon Bow, South Carolina, Anto Saka, Northwestern, Angela McCollum, Illinois, Ricky Gibson, Tennessee, Tawfiq Bayard, Colorado. BYU, Isaiah Jatta, they're losing, Waylon Lapuho, Carson Ryan, Chase Roberts, Tanner Wall, John Tumapo, if I got that right, Logan Lutu, Jack Kelly. Gaining Cade Ulave, California, Jake Clifton, Kansas State, Zach Yamochi, Stanford, by Stanford, Packy Finale, Washington, Walker Lyons, USC, Kyler Casper, Oregon, Junior C.I., Utah State. Oklahoma State, leaving Mason Thomas, Grayson Hall, and Marvin Jones Jr., Demonic Williams, Kendall Daniels, holy, how did I pronounce that wrong? Robert Spears Jennings, Sammy Amosio. Gaining, Parker Livingstone, hold on. Texas, oh no. Cole Sullivan, Michigan. Hayden Hansen, Florida. Trell Harris, Virginia. Marion Harris, Arkansas. Rocky Beers, Colorado State. USC, losing Makai Lemon, Jacoby Lane, Lake McRee, Kamari Ramsey, Anthony Lucas, Eris Gentry, Bishop Fitzgerald, Carlos Nicholson. They're gaining Zariah Fisher from Penn State, Terrell Anderson from NC State, Jontel Williams from Iowa State, Devin Bryant from Washington, Carrington Pierce from Oklahoma State, and Alex Van Sumeren from Michigan State. Now, Louisville. Let's go over. I'm going to be quick here. They're losing key players that I know of. Miller Moss, Chris Bell, Colin Lacey, Nate Kuriski. They're gaining Lincoln Keenholtz from Ohio State. Oh boy. Trey Richardson from Vanderbilt. LaWayne McCoy from Florida State. And Brody Foley from Tulsa. Those are some big players. LSU losing Garrett Nussmeier, Barry Brown, Xavier Thomas, and Aaron Anderson. They're gaining Sam Levitt, Jace Brown, Eugene Wilson from Florida, Winston Watkins from Ole Miss, Trey Brown from Old Dominion. Dang. TJ Daughtery from Ole Miss. Devin Harper from Ole Miss. Iowa losing Mark Gronowski, Caden Wetchin, but gaining LJ Phillips from South Dakota. Wow. Who are these players? Tony Diaz from Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Evan James from Furman. Trent Wilson from James Madison. All their players are from nobodies. Is this what Iowa does? They just gain nobodies who are good? SMU. Losing Logan Parr, Jordan Hudson, Romello Brinson, TJ Harding, Chris Johnson. Isaiah Nokobia, sorry. Ahmad Moses, Isaiah Smith, Cameron Robertson. Key additions. Marquez White from UMass. Yeah, 0-12 team, by the way. Jimmy Wyrick from UTSA. Jalen Hale from Alabama. Ooh. Kendrick Raphael, California. Stanford gave this guy a beatdown. Randy Pittman from Florida State. Ira Singleton from USF. Yannick Smith, East Carolina. Michigan losing just a bunch of defensive players, of course. They get J.J. Buchanan from Utah. Bunch of Utah players, guys. Taylor Tatum, Oklahoma. Salas Simoa from Utah. Jamie French Jr., Texas. Washington losing Jonah Coleman. Denzel Boston. Gaining. Logan George from Ohio State's a pretty good name there. TCU. Losing Josh Hoover. Eric McAllister. DJ Rogers. Gaining Jaden Craig. That's a Jeremy Scott, South Alabama. Alabama. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Ty Simpson, Jeremy Bernard, Caden Proctor, Parker Brailsford, Josh Cuevas. I don't know if I got that right. Jam Miller, Deontay Lawson, Justin Jefferson, Tim Keenan III, LT Overton. And they're gaining, they look like they're gaining a bunch of nobodies from, like, big schools, which is why they're losing their key players, is basically what they're saying. Wow, this is nice to see Alabama's getting disrespected. Katrin Allen, Nicholas Singleton, Drew Aller Penn State. They're gaining, basically Iowa State's whole roster. Arizona State losing Sam Levitt, Jordan Tyson, Raleek Brown. But they're gaining Cutter Boley, Raiden Vines Bright, Amarian Miller, Reed Harris. They just got a full wide receiver room, bro. Tennessee, what are you doing here? Joey Aguilar, Chris Brazel II, Arian Carter, Jermon McCoy, Andre Tarantine, Dominic Bailey. What? They're gaining Qua Moss from Kansas State. I've heard that name before. Utah. Why is Utah ranked? Lost their whole thing. They're getting a bunch of guys from smaller schools, a few bigger ones, Jamal Wallace from Tennessee, Isaiah Kima from Ohio State. But, yeah, that also gave us a bit of an update on the transfer portal, but I think that's going to do it. This is a super long video. We're all recording. This is 51 minutes now. But, I hope y'all enjoyed me struggling to pronounce people's names. Thank you for watching and joining Redbird Domination. I'm hoping a long video does well. Now, I'm going to say one more thing. I'm really trying to decide what I'm going to do during this off season. I'm planning on making a video once a month covering college football if there's any updates. They're probably only going to be 10 minutes long because I assume there are not going to be many updates. It's usually going to be coming from the transfer portal, and if it's not that, I'm probably going to cover stuff that could happen in the conference realignment future. I don't really know if there's anything going to happen because we haven't really heard anything since the beginning of the season when it came to Texas State joining the pack. That's like the last thing that happened, and then Louisiana Tech saying that we're going to join the Sun Belt. That's basically it. But I'm going to do major events in golf. I am guaranteeing that. Now, basically, I'm going to do a pre-video of major events and a post video, and I'm probably going to do a short every day at the end of the day or the morning of the next morning on that. So for instance, if you like golf, stay tuned because I'm going to be covering the Players, the Masters, the PGA Championship, the US Open, the Open, and the FedEx Cup Championship. That's what I'm going to be covering. Those are the 6 things I'm going to be focused on. I may get even more invested. We'll see. I don't think this is going to gain as big as an audience from college football. So because I'm trying to build the channel, I'm trying to think of things that can help me. So I'm going to do research on what I can do. Because there's lots of things sure I can do, but I want to stay on the topic of sports. So, that I'm interested in too. So like golf and football. But yeah, y'all can drop suggestions. I'm just trying to build a channel. So if you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe. If you are subscribed, please tell others because I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers by the time of next season. So basically, I'm solely depending on golf so far and off-season stuff to carry me, and I don't think that's going to happen unless y'all help me out. So that would be great if y'all would. And I'm pretty sure most of the people who watch this aren't subscribed, so it'd be great if you would. I'm sorry that I've been going on this rant. Thank you for watching. This was an amazing football season. I hope you enjoyed it. It's crazy every year. The last 3 years have been insane. Every year in college football is crazy. It's really a true fact. But thank you guys. God bless. I'm gonna go have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, or whatever.